Right guys, welcome to Task A for Unit 4 Discipline. For this task, you are required to explain the need for and role of discipline in the Uniform Public Services. Now the evidence that you need to produce for this task is a report. This text box here is telling you exactly what you need to do for this report. So if we read from the top here then. You need to explain, justify and evaluate the need for and role of discipline within the Uniform Public Services. You've got to give examples from a range of different public services. Okay. So to do this effectively, you need to cover all of these points below. So the first thing you do in your report is include a rank structure from 3 different public services of your choice. The second thing you need to do is effectively explain, justify and evaluate the need for discipline within different public services, and to explain, justify and evaluate the role of discipline from a range of different public services. So the first bullet point here is self-explanatory of what you need to do. The second and third one has got a range of different headings after the title of what you need to do. These headings must be included in your report, and you must include sufficient information on each one. Now I'm going to jump to an exemplar report of how you should structure this. So bog standard basics, you need to include your name, your student number, the course that you're on and what group you're in, whether you're in group A or group B, the unit title, which is unit 4, and discipline, the date at which you've produced it, and the need for and role of discipline will be your title for this assignment. What we also need to add in here is the task B. So then, very first thing you do in any report, guys, is include an introduction. This is used basically explaining what this report is. So a simple introduction of, in this report I'm going to explain, justify and evaluate the need for and the role of discipline with a range of different public services. That is more than sufficient to do for your introduction. It doesn't need to be long-winded. Okay. So the first bullet point then, include a hierarchical command and rank structure from 3 different public services. Now this is a rank structure, an example from the Army, which I've pinched from the internet, but I've referenced it here. Any images you use from the internet, you must reference your material. Okay. Now after each image, I want you to give a brief description explaining the command and rank structure within that service. So this is the Army, so I want a very basic description in a paragraph of the command and rank structure from the Army. I could do one from the fire service, and I could do one from the police service. Any 3 public services of your choice. So that's the first part of task A done. Second part, the need for discipline, and I've outlined here the different headings you must include in this report. So the first one is the definitions of discipline. Within each one of these bullet points, you must explain, justify and evaluate the need for discipline. Okay, so we'll take that from there and we'll put that in here. So definitions of discipline. I want a basic definition of discipline. Now you can use web pages, books, journals, anything you want, as long as I've got a basic definition of what discipline is here. For every other bullet point in this heading and in this heading, you must include a little side title where you explain the need for discipline, you justify it and you evaluate it. So, for an example, the necessity for rules and regulations. So why do we need rules and regulations? You must explain this first, you must justify it, and then you must evaluate it. And you've got to do the same for each bullet point. And that is for the second part of task A. Third part of task A is you must identify the role of discipline within public services. Okay, so the first heading is team spirit. So why do we need team spirit? How does that contribute towards discipline within public services? You need to justify that and evaluate the impact of that. I will cover during the sessions how you can justify and evaluate, so it's important that you keep your notes from your lessons. Now, for both the second part and the third part of the assignment, it is very important that you use a range of examples and not just examples from one public services. Once you've done that, any report that you're working to distinction standard should always include a conclusion and a list of references. During these sessions, I will be showing you how to produce a list of references for the material that you've used within your assignment. Okay. So then, jumping back to the assignment, we've covered here what you need to do and how you should structure it in a report. At the end of your report, you must ensure that you've covered this criteria down here. Okay. So when it says explain, you need to have done it for the need for and the role of discipline within public services. Examples may be given from a range of different uniformed services to support your answer. It is important that you use a range of examples from different public services. Justify the need for discipline and why is it that discipline plays an important role in various public services. Okay, so learners will be expected to give reasons or support the need for and importance of discipline using case studies, learner investigation, should cover different uniform public services. Examples of this will be covered during your lessons, and again it's important that you retain your notes to use for your report. I will do an in-depth session on how to evaluate. Again, keep your notes from this session. It's important that you do evaluate the need for and role of discipline within public services. Okay, so you've got to have covered all this criteria to achieve the top marks for this task here.